All right, this problem, Jenny wants to invest some money in a small business that'll earn her a partial living. She's got 12,000 bucks and is looking at two potential businesses. One is a worm farm, the other is a gourmet cat food store. All right, so both investments would require the entire $12,000 to get started, but the cash flows coming in are different. She used her financial acumen that she developed in BADM 321 to go out there and forecast cash flows in years 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for both investments, and that's basically cash revenues minus cash expenses. And as noted that the worm farm gets back the entire $12,000 in the first year, but then it'll bring in $1,000 a year after that. So the grand total she would get back is about $16,000 in the 5-year period. The cat food store, on the other hand, would generate about $20,000, but it takes longer to get. All right, so Jenny wants to earn an average annual rate of return of 10% and has come to you on advice. See if you can apply your time value of money skills to help her figure out which one of these investments earns the most. All right, well, to calculate the average annual rate of return for uneven cash flows, we can use the IRR function. Now remember that with the number of periods, rate, PV, FE, and payment approach that we looked at in a different module, that would require that the cash flows in years 1 through 5 be the same, and they're not here. The cash flows are different, so with uneven cash flows, we can't simply solve for rate. However, solving for rate is the equivalent of solving for IRR, or internal rate of return. We use IRR when there are uneven cash flows. All right, so if we use the Excel function equals IRR, open parents, and then cover up the cash flows from time 0 through year 5, all right, so year 0, or today, Jenny would have to spend $12,000, would get back $12,000 in 1 year, and then $1,000 a year for years 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's an average annual return of 21%. With the cat food store, it's only 16% is your average annual rate of return. That's because it takes longer to get the money. Okay, so that's the IRR function. Another thing we could look at is, since the dollar amounts coming back in are different, this is going to bring in $12, $13, $14, $15, $16,000. This is going to bring in 2 plus 3 is 5 plus 4 is 9 plus 5 is 14 plus 6 is 20. The cat food store brings in more absolute dollars. One thing I could do is use the NPV function and her 10% discount rate that she said needs an average annual return of at least 10%. Well, given the rate of return of 10%, she can calculate what this $16,000 that would bring in, that would be worth about $13,790 in today's dollars. So her investment of $12,000 she would trade today in exchange for cash flows that have a nominal value of $16,000 and a present value of $13,791. If we did the same calculations for the cat food store, note that the cat food store brings in more absolute dollars, and the dollars are actually more. It brings in the equivalent of $14,443 today. Okay. So which of these is better? Well, in a future module, what we'll point out is most finance people say more dollars is better. So although it takes longer to get them, which lowers the average annual rate of return, you're still earning more total dollars. So the $20,000 is more than 16, and 14,443 is also higher. So ideally, Jenny would take the one that is worth the most money.